Good morning and welcome back to Pursuing Profit with Principles. I'm your host, Regina Bergman, empowering you to create, accelerate, and maximize the profit in your business so that you can regain control of your finances, your energy, your time, and most especially your relationships. I'd like to welcome you to the show this morning and welcome my very special guest and very special friend, Pearl Cox from the UK. Pearl is the CEO of POW, Pearls of Wisdom, and she's coming to us all the way from Rugby, England this morning. Good morning, Pearl.
Good morning, Regina. I'm so excited to be here. As always, I always love speaking to you and sharing my pearls of wisdom.
And you have so many of those pearls of wisdom. I love every moment we get to spend together. I'll just put it that way. And folks, Pearl and I get to spend quite a few minutes together, believe it or not, with her being all the way in England and me here in Texas. But I just love this global society that we live in today, that we truly can connect at a deep level with people around the world. And it just thrills me to be able to do that. But especially this dear lady. She is amazing. Pearl, I thought it would be great this morning if we talked about your two upcoming projects that you have, because I know you create a lot of excitement with these projects. And very quickly, you are a master of bringing people together, a master of collaboration. So share with us what's going on in your world right now.
Well, Regina, thank you. Thank you for that chance to actually share, because I had a massive breakthrough last week where I was actually brought to tears because I realised I'd been saying all the wrong things. I was trying to copy everyone else. And I suddenly thought, I was asked, who's my ideal client? And I couldn't answer it. And I suddenly looked and I thought, but I know what I love to do, and that is collaboration. That's bringing people together. So anyone that has followed me previously, you will see that all of my social media channels, I have completely changed what it is I do so that everyone knows front and center, the first thing I do is collaborate. My sole purpose is to give a voice to the unspoken. That means I want to give a voice to every single one of these people that are watching and listening to us speaking today. And this is what I've done. I've done it this year for International Women's Day, and I am replicating that already for 2022 for International Women's Day. For the 2022 events, I am working on a book collaboration that I've entitled Women Who Lead. This is not a leadership book. This is a book that allows every contributor that can write a chapter to write and share what it is that you lead in, what your passion is, what your business is all about. Yes, the leadership books will be another collaboration in the future, but this one is all about putting each and every contributor front and center so that they can share what their passion is and what they lead in. And
I love that.
And as
I love that.
I'm starting the International Women's Day early because, as you know, Regina, this is how you and I connected.
Exactly.
I started the 2021 project at the end of February, and anyone that follows International Women's Day knows it's the 8th of March. So I started very late. I had a memory come up on Facebook, no image, nothing. It was just a text message saying from 5 years ago how I had loved sharing my pearls of wisdom with others, where I got to speak at a secondary school here in the UK and talk about an area that I excelled in that was a male-dominated area, but I was asked to speak for International Women's Day. And I simply shared that memory and said, would anyone else like to join? And in that 1 month of March, I got 350 wonderful, phenomenal ladies join. And we did lots of panel interviews where we did Zoom and we spoke about different things. And literally, we were getting thousands of views on the videos we shared. And as Regina knows, for March, just that International Women's Day promotion, that project, LinkedIn engagement grew by 25,000%. So this
Did
is
you
what
hear that, folks? 25,000% growth in that 1 month. Phenomenal. That's amazing, Pearl. Oh, and we need to give kudos to Bernie Floresca for introducing us this past year. That Bernie, thank you. We love you. But had he not introduced us, we might not be on this journey together and this path together, and able to just really enjoy what each other are doing and do some things together. So Pearl, so tell us then. I love the fact that your book is not a leadership book, but it is about. So women are not talking about leadership principles in it, right? They're talking about where and how it is they lead in the world, what they're doing in the world, what their strength is. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes, I've set up a Facebook group for this because I tend to learn quite quickly. Yes, and then Regina will tell you, I get an idea and bang, I'm adding more and more, and I can think of ways to run with it. But so that I wasn't running before I could walk as such, I've got a Facebook group where I've got different posts. I've done a post with questions that people can consider as they write their chapter, so that people can see the areas that they need to think about. And I've also got something where people can share the topic that they're likely to speak around. And it doesn't matter if you're covering the same topic, because your story will always be different. We all engage with people differently, don't we? So it's always right. That, and I just learned from that yes, do that. I did try and run a few sessions where I held space for an hour for everyone to take part and write at the same time, but I kind of got my my invites mixed up. So anyone that tried to attend those, I'm sorry, they didn't work quite the same, but I have recorded a whole hour session where I put the intention out there, and I've done 15, and I've done countdown minutes, 15 minutes with concentration music, 15 minutes in silence, and 15 minutes back with concentration music. So if you listen through to that, it's a great way to get you really honed in, so that you can actually write your piece and have that hour where you're dedicated yourself to writing.
Awesome. How many women have signed up so far to be involved in this, Pearl?
As we speak, we have 35 women signed up for this. So it's not going to be a book, it's going to be a series, because we're probably aiming for about 10 chapters per book.
And is there a cap on it, or how many folks can you take into this project?
There is no cap at all, because I want to run this even after International Women's Day. If you see this and you're watching this back at a later date, there is still space, because the more people we get, the more books we will create, and it will just be a series that will grow and grow.
Awesome. And again, as you mentioned, that you know, part of your passion is giving a voice to people. How did you word that again? Your mission is?
It's to give a voice to the unspoken. So basically, I put your message in front of a global audience, so that wherever you are in business, whatever message you have to share, I feel it's my soul aligned purpose to use my communication skills and my collaboration skills to put you in front of millions, so you can get your message across.
Awesome. Now, I have a question for you. I know on the last International Women's Day, you ran a series of panel discussions. Are you going to be doing that again this time, or are you doing anything in addition to the books this time?
I am going to be running panels, but also watch this space, because I am looking at running a virtual event so that people can actually exhibit. And so not only will it be for that week where everyone talks about International Women's Day, I want to run it for the whole of March. So the potential, we've got the book to get your name out there, we've got the event, we've got panels where everyone gets the chance to share about what their business does and how they can help people.
Awesome. I had the pleasure of participating this past time in your podcasts around this and in some of the panels, and it was great fun and educational. and I was really glad to have that opportunity. Pearl, for those who may not be familiar with it, can you share anything about the history of International Women's Day and what has kind of brought that about? And is
Now,
there anything any light you can shed on that for us?
I can do as much as I can. Now, I've only been attributed to International Women's Day and sort of trying to share probably since about 2016, and it has been going a lot longer than this. But anyone that follows International Women's Day, all you have to do is Google it. There are other browsers out there, but we all know Google best. So if you Google that, you will find it's an internationalwomensday.org, and that's their website. They have a theme that they will run for the whole year. This year, it was choose to challenge. So every time I interviewed someone, I asked them, what did they choose to challenge? For 2022, it's going to be break the bias. So it's how you approach that. The website itself, you can register to be a speaker, you can register to sponsor so that they will start to promote that. But if you use the hashtags, like I say, this for 2022, it will be hashtag break the bias. If you use that hashtag and the hashtag IWD, and it will probably be 2022, but I haven't seen all of those yet. As soon as you hashtag that, you will find that your post will start to trend along with others that are using the same hashtags. As we all know, if you can get onto a trending hashtag, you can get your message in front of a far larger audience. And for International Women's Day, I've seen for what they're doing for next year, it's not all just women. And you will find, I know, because quite often they get criticised for that yes, we jump on this bandwagon because it says International Women's Day. But if you look at their website, they've got an awful lot of pictures where men are getting involved because they want to break that bias as well. So there's lots
That's
to
awesome.
be said. I mean, yes, the book that Regina and I are talking about, that collaboration, I am looking at just women for that, but there will be future collaborations that everyone can join.
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about if someone would like to be included in that book, what are some of the requirements that, some folks have never written a chapter for a book. Others have done lots of books, whole books or chapters. Talk to us a little bit about that process of writing a chapter, if you would.
Right. First of all, you need to know that you've got the time. Each and every author, contributing author, I'm asking to write a 3,000 word chapter, and then you get to include a 300 word bio. So it's feeling that, yes, you can create that. But like I said, I've put together some questions that are almost like triggers that you can the way I've approached it, I've got my document, and at the top, I've put all the questions as headings, and then I start to write under those headings. Now, Regina and I have been involved in previous book collaborations. I must admit, I'm a last minute girl. I've always been that. I always live off the stress.
I can't relate to that at all. She said tongue in cheek.
I wrote for the chapter that Virginia and I were involved in. I wrote my 3,000 words on the last day that it had to be in. I'm not advising that everyone does that. You know what works best with you. But because we had the questions that were so perfectly phrased, we knew exactly how
it's so easy.
And it does make it easier. So I am duplicating that. I haven't replicated the questions, but I'm trying to duplicate the process to make it easier for you. All of these chapters will need to be passed through an editor. There is going to be a cost for that. That is running out at, I have to say it the English way, which is $1,500. I believe everyone else says it $1,500. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So I do get confused with that because I'm so used to having the comma. So don't think that that's what that does. What that $1,500 does is it allows you to get known as an author. It puts you front and center. These chapters will be put together as the collaboration. They will be uploaded to Amazon, and every one of these authors will become an Amazon #1 bestseller, because that book, everything we're putting in, the editors I'm working with, this is what they excel at, putting you front and center. We will show people how to actually claim an author's page, so you can then start to put that out there. But look at what you're getting for that. You are being put on an international stage. I am interviewing every single one of these contributors on my podcast, so you have an interview talking about your chapter, what it is that you lead in. There are so many ways. We are looking at companies that will then be sponsoring the book as well. There is so much growing with this. And the cost of having a book, once it's there, the potential, what that does to your profile is it skyrockets it. So yes, for a very small fee, that is literally, sit there and see how much would you spend on advertising that could be hit or miss. Put that into writing a chapter, into contributing to this book where everyone will become #1 best-selling authors. And it's a great way to promote your business, and to do that on an international, global scale. That book is always available. It will be available in Kindle. It will be a print on demand from Amazon. And I know Regina and I are also looking at the potential of maybe audio books, but we can bring that in for the future. So there's so much potential here, and we are holding your hand all the way through. There's the Facebook group where you can actually see and you can connect with the other ladies that are taking part. People are sharing. I will be doing lots of updates. I'll do a few lives in the Facebook group. So if there's any questions, you can reach out there, or alternatively, reach out to myself or to Regina, because you, from this viewing this message, to say yes, you want to take part. This is the start. I know Regina and I have so much that we're working on. Collaborations and book collaborations are going to be the way that we move forward. Isn't that right, Regina?
It is indeed. A couple of things I'd like to hit on there. One is it's a priceless opportunity. First of all, yes, there's a little bit of cost involved, but the opportunity to start your career as an author, or enhance your existing career as an author, or what you do currently, is tremendous. And Pearl, let's talk for a moment about how people make 6 figures off of a book, because we know it doesn't come all from the book sales, right? Let's talk about how we turn that book into a 6-figure plus income. Can you touch on that?
Definitely, because what the book does, it establishes credibility, like we said, that #1 Amazon bestseller status. Once you are an author and you can add that to your profiles, that is where the extra monetary value comes in, because people want, if you're a coach, people want to work with you because they will see that prestige value, that you are a #1 best-selling author on Amazon, that you are an author, you have written a chapter towards a book. Also, that potential, it could find that where you've got that bug for writing, you could write other things. You could look at producing ebooks and promote your brand and actually show from that. Yes, as you write a book, that isn't where the money necessarily comes from. It's the introductions and being asked to be a keynote speaker, because people see what your knowledge value adds. And from actually writing about what you lead in, people will see, yes, that lady speaks about this topic. I love what she says. My audience will resonate with that. And that's when the requests come in for you to be a paid keynote speaker. And also you've got that clout because of what you've done and the prestige value. You also get the chance to actually put your fees up, because therefore you have reached a global audience. You have a massive network that you can grow into, and all of these things help. I mean, Regina, what else would you add to this? Because there are so many ways once you become that author. That's just the start to help with the promotion.
Absolutely. And you know, a big part of that is having a plan for after the book comes out. You know, there's a planning process going into creating the book, but then there needs to be a plan for each person who's participated in that on how they're going to monetize that coming out. And that's an area that Pearl's going to help with as well, right, Pearl? Giving them some ideas and things on that. Um, but it can lead to additional clients. And as Pearl said, you can increase your prices. You can now have a greater value product and put out there. And you have, you know, I love to think about the word author is actually contained in the word authority. And so, you know, as an author, you increase your authority in the market. When you increase your authority, you increase your value and are able to monetize that better. So that may be that you have a course that you come out with. You may be a coach, maybe that allows you to gain more coaching clients. You know, whatever your field is, it can provide additional revenue streams that you can capitalize on. Right now, my mind's kind of stuck on coaches and things, um, but there are opportunities for everybody then to grow their foundational business based on that success as an author. And being that best-selling author just raises that even more when you're a best-selling author.
And also, anyone you meet, if you've got that on as part of your elevator pitch, that you are a Amazon #1 best-selling author, you get to the stage that, yes, you can actually share that. You can put that on your email link, on your email signature, so people can actually see that your income generating just from the book itself, so people can see. But it's also that prestige value in yourself. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
The value that you get from knowing that you have stepped through that fear barrier, that you haven't sat on the side, you've taken part, you have shared exactly what it is that you lead in, and you have put yourself front and center. Once you've done that once, it's easy to do it again and again and again. And by doing this and the process that we've put together, it's so easy to do it. You don't have to necessarily think all about it yourself. Yeah. By doing a book collaboration, it's the start of many books after that could be, as an individual, you might find that the people you meet on this project, you think, yes, we connect. I'd love to do a collaboration with that lady. It could just be 2 authors. And this is where you grow. And you never know. All the time you sit on the fence and you think, oh, I'd love to do that. Make this next year, 2022, the year that you do it. You don't sit on the fence, that you stand up, you be counted, and you start to really grow and propel your business. We've had this horrid COVID through, and it's probably going to be with us for a while. The way we work has changed. The old paradigms of how we would market something have been lost. Everyone is going online. They are finding ways to connect with people. If you get into a collaboration and you put your message out there, which is what this whole book collaboration is all about, you are going to be ahead of this curve. You will understand how to use online marketing. You will have your profile put there in front of everyone else, and you will shine.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. There's so much value. And folks, there is nothing like having your first best-selling book. I mean, it's wonderful anytime you have a bestseller, but that first one, when you hold that first book in your hands and you're a bestseller and potentially an international bestseller as well with this collaboration. I mean, it could easily be a bestseller in a multitude of countries. That it's just a wonderful, warm feeling to know that you did it. And now you not only get to know that you did it, but you also get to claim that, as Pearl said, in all of your marketing, it can have as part of your bio that you are an international best-selling author. Your business card can reference your book. You can have a picture of the cover of your book on your business card if you want. You know, you can use your book as a tool to gain new clients. You can give away the first chapter of your book as one thing. You know, people could sign up to get that first chapter, well, let's see, in this case, you're a chapter in the book. So it might not work exactly like that on this, but when it's your book and just you in that book, there would be, what would be a way that folks could utilize that similarly, Pearl, to when, like how we do give a chapter sometimes, let people do a little pre-read. What would be a way that they could do that with this book?
I think, again, we go back to the coaching idea. If you're a coach and whatever it is you've spoken about and you've written about in your chapter, why not ask those that have bought the book to reference, you could actually do it in your bio, reference a code that then gives them one free coaching session with you, because that means they're going to read it, reach out, and then you can monetize
Awesome.
it from that. And that's a great way to build your list before you do anything else. So it's people that want to connect with you. They actually find that their profile fits. Once they're reading, they really connect with what you've written. And then if you add that in your bio, those links, and this is what each contributor will have the offer to do, that you can actually share an offer and move forward with it. So the potential is fantastic because it's always there. People, and every one of us that shares it will actually have, those readers will read about each and every one that's included in these books. So that promotion, it's that collaboration thing. You've heard me use that word a lot, but it is, once we collaborate, we raise our voice, and one voice becomes that of many. And so what was a whisper becomes a shout, and everyone hears it.
I love it. Two things. One is that, you have the opportunity to also make some great friendships and collaborations within this group that are going to be contributing, because as Pearl said, there's a Facebook group where we can interact. Maybe you connect with someone there, like Pearl and I connected last year, and you create this lasting relationship, whether it be personal or business or both. The other is, Pearl, we are just about at the end of our time. If someone wants to be considered in the book, if they'd like to apply, is there an application process? What's the process for someone if they want to be a part of this?
Currently, I'm just letting everyone that is a woman that feels that they want to take part in this collaboration to reach out. If you look for PAL, Pearls of Wisdom, on Facebook, you will find me, and the group itself is Women Who Lead Book Collaboration. So if you want to reach out, you can connect there, or just reach out to me, send me a message on Facebook. It's Pearl Cox, and my company is PAL, Pearls of Wisdom Limited. So if you find those two, it's the Pearl Cox you need. So you can reach out, and then I can give you access to the group, and you can learn from there.
And for anyone who's listening, Pearl will chuckle at this. For anyone who's listening who doesn't understand everything in an English accent, that's POW, P-O-W, Pearls of Wisdom. So look for her Facebook group, POW, Pearls of Wisdom, or your personal page again was.
If you look for
that's where they need to go.
Yeah.
Got it. And then just, apply to join the group and let Pearl know that you'd like to be included in the book, that you'd like to take part in that. It's a great project to help women around the world to step into their own authority, their own power. And I love it. Pearl, thanks for putting it together. Thanks for all that you do to help others. I mean, this woman is the queen of collaboration. And thank you for being with us today, Pearl. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And folks, she's going to come back again and again and share things with us. So we're excited to have that happening. If you have any questions, be sure and reach out to us. You can find me at Pursuing Profit with Principles on Facebook. I have a Facebook group there for Pursuing Profit with Principles. So thank you again, and have an amazing day. And if I don't see you before Christmas, you don't see me before Christmas, I'm going to start wishing you a Merry Christmas now. So bye-bye, folks.
Bye.
Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing today? My name is Barbara J. Beckley, and I am coming to you, giving you to understand expanding your impact, expanding your impact. And that's regarding your visibility, where, when you're talking one-on-one with people, when you're interviewing on your podcast, if you're on a podcast, if you're invited to a podcast, TV streaming shows, social media, you name it, anything about expanding your impact in the world. I am here. I am your visibility and social media strategist. And I come on starting today, Mondays, every Monday during the week. I will come on to bring you some tips, some guidelines, some strategies, something that to move you from that needle from this point to this point in your life when it comes to your business, your products and services, and how to show up. Just how to show up. Now, I told myself, I said, Barbara, I've been working for the last 4 years and I've been building up my brand, and I've been telling myself that there's a reason, not just so much of my business so people know who I am, but to take on the journey of that so I can help others do it. See, my biggest mission is to help others get visibility in their lives, to make sure that what they're doing, be it professional or personal, if they want to show up and people to see what kind of impact that you bring, I'm that middle guy. I'm that cheerleader to wave you on, to help you out, to get you motivated, get that confidence going. So I told myself, but I have to do the work first. I said I have to do the work and make sure I understand it and make sure I get the guidelines and make sure I do the research. So that's what I have done, and I'm here to bring it to you. So today I'm going to start off today we're going to talk about the beginning. The beginning. Where do you start? Where do you start? A lot of times people feel like, oh, well, somebody told me I need to, start a website, or somebody told me I need to get on TikTok and do some things, or somebody told me just to throw myself out there, get on every platform of social media, and then things will come as they may. And I'm like, I'm the first to tell you, those are all good ideas. And that's all those ideas bring visibility to you. But before you do anything like that, you have to have that idea, that mindset, that goal. You have to set your goals on what you're trying to do. And when you think about it, I always tell people that's anything in life. Anything in life, you have to say, okay, if you're working on a project, if it's just you, or if you're working with the group, or you're working at your company where you work at, or you work at your own business, you have to always lay out where you're trying to go. What is your destination, what you're trying to do, and where do you start and make those steps to get to that destination? You just don't say voila and everything is, good to go, and you're just spinning your wheels trying to figure out what to do. That is not helpful to you. First of all, it's very confusing. Second of all, it's very stressful. And third of all, you're going to go around and around and around. You're going to wind up right back to where you came from. And that's, okay, what am I trying to do here? So I told myself, I said, okay, where do we want to start? Where do we want to start? So I want to start by talking about first of all, before we come to your client, what is your goal? What is your product? What is your services? What do you do? What is your mission? What do you stand on every day and tell yourself, this is how I want to impact? This is what I want to do for other people. You have to have that out. You have to have that put somewhere and put it in front of you. If it's on your laptop, if it's in front of the front of your bathroom window, wherever it's at, you have to make sure that you have that plain. So I told myself, and I'll use me as an example. So 4 years ago, I said, I want to make sure, especially women in business, are first of all being heard, understand their purpose, and then after that happens, give them or show them how to make themselves visible in front of others so they can know who they are. We all have a gift in us, how important it is. I always tell people, and what I call that is the diamond factor. I'd say that's your foundation for your PPD, as I call it, is purpose, passion, and drive. And if you have that in your head and in your heart all the time, whatever you do, whatever you're strategically going for, you always remember that main platform, that main platform in you, that main foundation. And that is your purpose, passion, and drive for yourself. So when I found out, I said, you know what? My purpose is to help people understand what's your purpose. Just like I said, what my purpose, what is your purpose? What do you want to do? How you want your own business? Do you want to stay on in the corporate world? Do you want to help others? Do you want to do a non-for-profit? What do you want to do? And even with that, after you find that finite out, then what do you want to do in that zone? Do you want to help children? Do you want to help adults? Do you want to help women? Do you want to help people that are homeless? Do you want to help people in corporate that's trying to understand what their visibility should be? I mean, and the list goes on. So you have to really narrow down, just like that bow and arrow. When if you're pulling a bow and arrow and that little, at the end, you're just trying to say, I need that middle. I need to find out, what do I need to be doing? Or what am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose? And then when you find that out and you sit back and you take accountability of that, then the next thing you have to understand is any type of product or services or any kind of assistance that you're giving from that purpose, how is that going to help others? How is that going to help others? Who do you want to help? Who do you want to impact? Myself, like I said, I want to help, especially women in business that's probably in business between 1 to 2 years or higher, in the age range between 45 and 55. Okay, now see, I'm narrowing down my niche. So I'm just giving you an example. Women that are go-getters, that want to just create more, they're very creative. They see, what they want, they see their vision. They see where they want to go. Their interest is, they love to travel. They just they like to read books. They're very educated, even what they make, maybe 100K and up. So I'm throwing all that out to give you an idea, because I want to dig deeper into it a little bit about understanding what you probably heard a lot of in this business world called, what is your avatar? So first, we need to know, what is your mission, your goal, your value, your passion, your purpose. What are you about first? And then once you nail that down, with a little help from me, I help you out with that if you want to. But once we nail that down together, I just see it. I see you coming. We will go to the next phase in understanding what your product and services are there for. And then we have to do a matchup. So once we know your product and services, your value, your mission, then you need to know, who is your client? Who is your client? Now, going back, I mentioned a few things about my little avatar. I have a name, and I always tell people, always put a name to your avatar. My avatar name is Carmen. So I'm always looking around for some Carmens when it comes to my product and services, because I believe wholeheartedly that my services will help Carmen. So you have to understand, who is your, who is your client that you're looking for, and understand that person you're looking for to buy your services. Now, just imagine, just close your eyes, if wherever you're at, close your eyes and imagine that you have you're in front of a room full of people, and they all are your potential client or your potential business partner. And they're waiting for you to come out and to explain to them who you are and what product or service that you give them, because already they know that you're going to come out and give them something that they need. But you can't really enforce that in their minds until you find out what their need is. It's one thing to say, oh, I got this product and services. It's another thing to say, is it something that these potential people out there, do they need that? Do they need my product? Are those challenges? Do I know their challenges? Do I know their, you hear a lot about pain points on where they need to, on what they want. So you have to have a listing. It's the biggest thing. After you find out what you do and what you produce, then you have to have that social listing. I always tell people how important that is. You need to go in certain groups that pertains to your potential client. You need to go on certain platforms. It doesn't have to always be social media. I mean, you can go in networking functions. You can ask people and do a research project and say, you know what, I want 5 people to come and, I want to talk a little bit about my product and my services. And I want to get some feedback. That's a focus group. Create a focus group. These are things that you want to do because now you want to listen. You want to listen very, very, very carefully on what those potential clients are saying, because that will give you that idea to say, okay, this person is talking about they need this, this, and this. Well, you know what? I provide this, this, and this. So we can come together and we can work together, and I can help them with their pains and their challenges of what they're dealing with. And this just be a wonderful combination. And I always tell people, once you know for a fact that you have those people in front of you. Now let's go back to that room I was talking about. Where there's people in the room, and now they are your potential clients. They do want your services and products. And you're going to go and get in front of them, and you're going to basically explain to them in more detail who you about, what you do, and that you can help them. And they're going to say yes. Isn't that a wonderful thing? That does not have to be a dream. That doesn't have to be like so far-fetched out there that you don't see that. That can happen almost every day of your life. But you have to create those expectations and set yourself up to get to that point. That's why you have to start way at the beginning on picking out your goal, picking out what you do, picking out who is your client, and then what value do you bring to them? What value do you bring that they're going to say, hey, I want you? What do you give them? What is something that they just need? Like that, I always say that little secret sauce. What's that secret sauce that they need, especially from you? What can you give them? What makes you so unique compared to any other like coach or mentor that they're looking for and they're yearning for? You have to make sure that you're giving that value. Now, I always tell people, I know there's a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of authors out there. There's a lot of mentors, consultants, and the list goes on. Because people, pick their purpose, and that's their purpose. I mean, myself, I'm a strategist. I'm a consultant. And I had to say to myself, what's going to make me unique? What's going to make people want to come to Barbara Beckley, come to the Diamond Factor company, and have them help them out with their purpose, have them help them out with their social media, have them help them out manage their social media, have them help understand when they're doing one-on-one interviews, what to look for, how to do it, how to expand their impact. What am I going to do differently that's going to take another person that's doing the exact same thing is going to come to me? You have to bring that uniqueness out in you. It might be better customer service. You might do a really deep dive in something that they need, and you're like, okay, I'm here to guide you and walk you through it. It's the way you present yourself. The old saying goes, first impressions are lasting impressions. And I want to add to that. Every time I get to something like a quote, I put my little spin on it too. So first impressions are lasting impressions, but if it's a good first impression, you got to continue on doing those impressions. You got to keep it up. You can't just do, okay, hey, ta-da, I'm your, I'm your Glinda the Good Witch to give you everything you need. And then as soon as they come in, they might purchase your product and they say, yeah, thank you, Barbara, so much. I'm interested. Thank you for being. And then you slowly go down that little slippery slope of, okay, now that they're in my, wheelhouse now, I can just breathe. I'm okay now. They bought the product. They paid for it. No, you are forever showing up in them. You have to be that person, that unique person that's going to be there. Customer service is the key. I say that. I've been seeing so much lately of the opposite of good customer service. I've been seeing so much customer service. I'm like, what is going on? Do people understand that that's how you keep a client? You have to be there for them. You have to give them value. You have to value them. That's not happening a lot of times when I've been going to certain places. I'm like, okay, I'm sometimes I think to myself, am I the customer? Who's the customer here? I thought I was the customer. And a lot of times, it doesn't flow anymore because people are caught up in themselves and they're not caught up in the fact that you need to tend to that client's needs. That's why they came to you. That's somewhere down the line in their mind, they said you can do what's needed. You can help their challenge. You can help their pain points. But if you give them a pain after they become your client, then they're going to just go on their merry way and find somebody else that will have the time, take the time to give their needs of what they need, what they need. So you have to make sure. So just going back as a quick summary, first, what do? You need to know your goal. Know your goal and what you're doing and within your business. Second, understanding what I call your PPD, your purpose, your passion, your drive, and what you do, and really hone in on that. That's understanding your mission. That's understanding your values. That's creating boundaries. Because when you understand your mission and value, then you create those boundaries within you to understand what you bring forth and what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. So once you build that, then you got to know your, avatar, the name of your avatar, whatever your name is. I'm looking for my Carmen's. That's my avatar. And then once you hit step back, then you have to understand what value do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table for them? What challenges? You have to have what I said, that listening, social listening. You need to be listening all the time. Prime example, I was talking to another client I had before, and they took my workshop, and they said, Barbara, it would be so awesome. I'm having some trouble with LinkedIn. I manage it day to day. I try, but I still don't understand some of the ins and outs about it. I know my bio probably is not up to par where it should be. I'm trying to really, hone in on some organizations, hone in on some business partners, and hopefully some clients through LinkedIn. What do I do? So I'm sitting there listening. I'm listening. And I was like, ooh. So I was writing down notes when she was telling me. I said, so you're telling me that you're having problems within this in the LinkedIn platform. You're telling me that you need help with your bio. You're telling me that you're really trying to figure out, how do I get more engagement and response on LinkedIn? You're telling me, how do I figure out if it's even working? Maybe I need to know the analytics of it. Or how do I find the analytics of it? Or how do I, position that? So you're telling me. So I'm saying all this because I'm saying you're telling me because she was telling me her need. She was telling me her pain point. She was telling me what's probably keeping her up, because maybe that's the platform she's been working on, and she's really honing on to say, okay, I need this platform to help me out with my clients, to get my potential clients, and it's not really working the way she wants it to work. So I told myself, I said, okay, Barbara, you said you're the diamond factory. You said you help people with, expanding their impact. You said that you will make sure that you can guide them in the platforms of social media. What are you going to do? So I told myself I need to create a workshop or a webinar regarding LinkedIn. And I believe that will help so many people, including her, to get through that. See, it's all about you. You should be giving your service and project should be giving results. It should be giving like, oh my God, thank you so much. I was trying to figure this out, but you brought the key. You brought the whole thing that I understand. I understand I can move forward now. Thank you so much. You solved my problem that I was looking for. And when you do that with clients, you don't have to worry about them not coming back. They'll come back because they know, first of all, what you did for them. They're going to remember that. That's why I said first impressions are last impressions, but you got to continue that first impression through the whole process because they need to know that they can rely on you. They need to know that you're listening to them. They need to know that you are there with your problem service right front and center to help them move forward in what they're trying to do. So you need to bring that value and you need to find out where they're hanging out at. That's where that social listening comes from. And then from that point, once you got that social ear and you're listening to what they're saying, then you start figuring out where can I put the value and the content information and the tips that I know that will help others out. Two things that will do. First, that will help them, guide them in what they're trying to do at that time. Second, it will give you branding visibility of your product so they know who you are and who they need to go to. I always tell people, I don't care if you just started, if you're in the middle of starting a business or you've been starting a business, you should always be doing a brand awareness campaign of your business because you never know who's new coming in looking at your Facebook business page or looking at your TikTok or looking at your Instagram or looking at your LinkedIn, those platforms. So you should always be putting something out there that's first of all, giving them value, giving them something that they can deal with and work with to help them move to the next level of what they're trying to do. It's one thing to say, hey, I'm Barbara Beckley, and I'm the Diamond Factor, and I sell these products, and you can get in my workshop and stuff. And that's a selling tack. That's a selling thing. I can hear it in my ear when I say it. It says, okay, you're selling to me. I don't want you selling to me right now. I need to know who you are. You said you Barbara. I don't know you that well. I need to know and trust and like you right now. So give me something. And that's what they need. They don't need you selling to them at that point. When you give enough value, enough tips, enough content out there, and let them know who you are, what you're about, and creating that expertise, that who you are. And once you do all that for a while and they see you and they get to know you and you get to engage with them and talk to them, not selling at that time, but just getting to know all that, as soon as something comes up and you start putting your workshop link out there or saying, you know what, next month I'm going to have this going on, talking about the different platforms of social media and where your client might reside in. They're going to have their hand up. They're going to click on that link because guess what? Now they know Barbara Beckley. They know who you are. They will reach out to you to make sure that they get on the list or the website, your website to sign in and engage in that workshop or that webinar. They will be thrilled. You will have raving fans coming to you for your services because you took the time out to give them some value. You took the time out to listen what they had to say. You took the time out to give them something to move them from, okay, they were a little confused here, but now you gave them a tool that they can move towards. And that's what it's all about. That's why people should be in business. That's why you have products and services, because you need to expand your impact within them so they can move forward. And guess what? When they move forward, you move forward. Because now you don't only have them as a client or as a business partner, either way. then you're gaining more people because they're getting to understand who you are. So you want to make sure, again, set that goal, understand who you are. You cannot explain, and this will put a little tip here. You cannot explain to a person your services and products if you don't know who you are. If you don't understand what you're supposed to be doing, if you don't understand your PPD. And that was me 4 or 5 years ago. I was still, dangling a little bit saying, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I'm asking that question about my business, how can I even ask a person, a potential client or business partner, to understand? They're going to be like, well, you don't know what you do. You don't know what kind of services you have. You don't know what problems you solve. For me, then maybe I need to go to this other person over here because they got their stuff together. They're showing up. They're expanding their impact. They're making sure that I know their products. They're giving me tips. They're giving me value. They're giving me content. You're still confused. And you should never look confused. And even if you don't, another tip, if you don't know the answer, at least promise them to say, you know what, I'm going to get back with you on that. I just need to pull some things and get some information, but I'm going to make sure I get that to you. Be honest with them. People will trust people that are honest and that are open to say, hey, I just don't know all of that. I might not know everything. I'll tell anybody in a heartbeat. I do work on visibility aspects for people and social media strategists, but I don't know everything. I'm not perfect. We're all not perfect. And people understand the realness. If you're real with somebody, if you're truly real with them, they'll understand. And they'll be like, you know what? Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being open to say that, you have to look into that. I'll get back to you on that. And then one thing I always say is if you do have to go back and do some research or pull some other information out to give to them, get back to them when you said you was. We're going to get back to them. You want to make sure that if you promise by the end of this week, just use an example, that you're going to get back to them, you need to get back to them that time. Again, what is that? That's building the confidence, just building that relationship, building that trust factor within you, with them, so they understand that, hey, I can trust this person. And even if you get back at the end of the week and say, you know what, I want to make sure I got back with you, that information that you needed that you were talking about a week ago, I'm still working on that, or you might have it. So what I'm trying to say is, even if you're still working on it, keep them in the loop. Make sure they are understanding what you're doing and give them that time frame, give them those dates, and make sure you hit those dates, because you're building, again, that relationship. If they can't trust you with it, what I said earlier, they're going to go somewhere else where they can probably get more information from, and make sure that people are following up with them. So once you understand that that social listening, and you hear those potential clients is talking, they're talking because they do talk. I'm telling you, I told you, I had one earlier. They were talking to me about the LinkedIn workshop that they looked, well, I said with LinkedIn workshop, I put that in my head because they were telling me all of the pain points. They were telling me all the challenges they have in LinkedIn. And I know I have a product for that can come together to make that work for them and to help them out and to get them to point A to point B. So the next thing is I want to mention, talking about where to start, is you want to make sure, once you understand those pain points, those challenges, what people are looking for, then you can start pulling that content, pulling those tips that because that expertise that you have, you start pulling all the information together, and then you can start posting out there on the platforms that they are talking in. So you can start reaching out to them, say, hey, I heard that you had a problem with this. Do you know there's 3 ways to do boom, boom, boom? And then you list the 3 ways, and you let them take that and say, oh my God, there's 3 ways to do this. I didn't even know. Thank you so much. And they're going to say your name. And then that starts to raise the raving fans for you. And then you can keep introducing that to them, introducing those content tips. People always ask me all the time, well, Barbara, how do I know what content to put out? And I think to myself, I'm like, Sometimes we make things harder than it is. Think about this. If you are in the business of gardening, say that you're a gardener and now you're taking your gardening expertise into a business. You want to help people and help them grow their plants and vegetables and everything that they have in their household, within where they're at, where they live at. They might have a backyard or a yard or, a separate yard, whatever. But now you becoming an expert and say, I want to help people garden better. I want to show people the best way to do it. I want to show people the best way to get your vegetables, get your fruit, get the, if you want certain plants, whatever. I want to show all that. So then you become this business, you know your purpose, you know what you want to do. You have a little idea of your client. Now you get on a social media platform, say you picked Instagram, because Instagram would be awesome for gardeners so they can show pictures of what they're doing, of how they're growing things. They can do even an instructional video on, what to put, how do things grow better, certain secrets that you have to do certain things in the dirt or something, or get the right, tools to mold and everything in your backyard or whatever you have to do. So I'm thinking to myself, everything I just said, that last piece, isn't that content? Isn't that information, tips that you can give them? When you ask yourself, what content that I need to be putting out there, you need to ask yourself, what is your business about? As soon as you know what your business is about, that's the kind of content that you should be putting out for people. Giving them tips, making videos, maybe telling the 5 top things on how to plant, good grass or something like that. You don't want burnt out grass, like some grass that I have in back of my townhouse. When it's summertime, it's at the beginning, it's real nice and green, but then after a while it gets kind of brown. It gets burnt. I call it burnt grass. And I know that somebody needs it, because I don't have to, since I'm a townhouse, I don't have to do that part. But we have gardeners come in, we have landscapers come in, and they tend to it. And they put certain things down, and then it comes back alive again. So if you're that gardener, you're honing in on your expertise, you can give some tips about that. That's part of having content out there. Maybe you want to interview somebody that is dealing with some problems with their garden, and you interview them, you show them the way. Hey, that's showing proof right there quickly of how you can help somebody with a challenge or with a pain point they're having when it comes to gardening. So don't make it so difficult when you're trying to figure out, well, what do I put out there as content? What tips do I need to put out there? What do you do? What is your business? What is your purpose? What are you passionate about? What do you love doing? What drives you every day to do in your business? That's your content. That's your tips. That's what you should be putting out. Why would you put out something totally different than what your livelihood is, or what brand that you have? Really doesn't make sense, right? You could even go to even third-party people on what they're talking about concerning your brand and catch on to that and add stuff to that. So there's so much you can do when it comes to content, but you just got to remember that you got to start from the beginning. And just summarizing again, you have to, first of all, know who you are. Know who you are. Know your purpose. What are you doing? Is it your own business? Are you collaborating with somebody else? Are you working a corporation? What are you doing? That after you know who you are and what you're doing, your mission, your values, a part of that comes into play. And then once that happens, then you have to understand what products and services that you offer. What do you offer? What is your expertise? What can you give to somebody? And then you have to know your client, understand what their pain points are, what their challenges are. What do they go to sleep and think about and wake up and think about it? You have to understand that's that social listening. And then once you understand that, then you have to say, what can I bring to the table to them? What kind of value do I have to give to them from me? It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the value that you give them so they can come to you and get your services or get your counseling or get your coaching. You want to put it out there, value kind of whatever that you're doing, so they can say, oh my God, this person's an expert on this. I need to go back to Barbara and talk to her about this. And then once you get all that, then you understand what platforms to go on. Maybe all your people are living in Instagram. Maybe some of your clients are living in Instagram and part of Facebook. So you go into those two platforms and you just flood it. I mean, flood. I'm talking about flooded with content and value. You want to make sure that they see that you're the expert. You know what you're talking about. You're giving them so much value that they can't help themselves. But what I said earlier, being raving fans for you. So I want to close by saying that no matter what you do in your business or even in your personal life, always remember your foundation. Always remember that you have to understand, really dig deep. Now I'm thinking about the garden now. Dig deep in you, though, in your heart, in your soul, in your mind, and knowing, what do I bring to this table? I do have a gift. I always tell people, you were not put on this earth by a mistake. You were put on this earth for a purpose. And when you understand that purpose, that passion just seeps out. And then once that passion hits, then the drive of it is all the things that you dealt with to get to your purpose. And it's going to remind you on why you do what you want to do. And that's your foundation. And once you know your foundation, then all the other steps I mentioned about understanding who you are, understanding your business, understanding your values, understanding what client you have, understanding their needs, understanding what value you give them, then that blossoms into the next phase on what you're doing. And you have to do all of that before you even think about saying, should I go on TikTok or go on Facebook? Think about that first. Stay with the strategy and move forward with that. Thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Barbara Beckley. I'm a visibility and social media strategist, and I help people hone in on their purpose. And then after that, I help them expand your impact in life by understanding, giving you and understanding the visibility that you need to have those, I love saying this, those raving fans that you have. I will be back next Monday, every Monday at this time, under the Diamond Factor Experience Show. You take care, and I wish you well. And remember that you have that special gift in you. You just have to shine for others and get that visibility so they know that you create an impact. Thank you so much.